Hello BookTube, it's Tag Tuesday and I have a really fun tag. This is the 20 Bookish Questions Tag. This was created by the channel The Active Mind, so all the credit goes to him. But I love these type of tags. These is one of these type of tags where you get to learn a bit more about me, and maybe some of my responses will be a bit chaotic, but we'll see what happens. This is really fun. So question 1. How many books is too many books in a series? Now, for me, I'm not a series girly. I've always preferred duologies. I love when it's just two books. A trilogy, why not? But I think, well, it depends on the series, obviously, because some authors can really pull it off, but then some just can't. And I think if I had to pick a sweet spot, it would be six at most, maybe. I think when it starts getting 8, 9, 10, there are exceptions, like The Realm of Elderlings for me is one of my favorite series ever. It's easily my favorite fantasy books ever, but that's 16 books. But for me, I'm gonna say six, just a good comfort, not too much, not too many. Two, how do you feel about cliffhangers? If they're there, they're there. I don't really think about if I like them or not, to be honest. I'm never on the edge of my seat. I'm not that invested in cliffhangers. I don't know why. It's fine. If it's there, it's there. It depends on how the author does it as well. Because there's sometimes when, again, an author can't do it or pull it off well. But there's somewhere I'm like, that was a really solid ending. And I don't know, I never got the hype around cliffhangers, if I'm being honest. But yeah, so I'm not the best person for cliffhangers. Three, hardcover or paperback. Now, I have most of my books paperbacks, but in saying that, if I could just wave a magic wand and wish them to be hardcovers, I really would because like they're not. Paperbacks are easier to travel with. They're just more convenient, but hardcovers last longer, and I feel like I just love the aesthetic of a hardcover, and I don't know, I just would rather have hardcover books, to be honest. Next question. What's your favorite book? I don't have one right now. I'm just gonna say The Unknown Ajax by Georgia Haya because Haya is my queen. I binged an insane amount of Haya over the weekend, and I want to do more before November kicks in with Nonfiction November. So I do have a couple more I want to get to, but that's easy. Haya's just a delight, and I love her so much. So any book by Georgia Haya really could be a favorite book. I'm just gonna say The Unknown Ajax or Sylvester the Wicked Uncle. That's always been my favorite one. But anyway, next, favorite author, Georgia Haya. That's all I'm gonna say. Next question, ideal book length. I do love bigger, longer books. To be honest, I'm not as much invested. It depends on the genre, really, because I feel like I don't like short nonfiction. If you're gonna do a history book or a biography, I want it to be big. Like, give me, 600, 800 page book. And I feel like I really want big books when it comes to nonfiction. Fiction, I'm not really fussed. It could be short, it could be a novella length. I'm not fussed, but I'm in a more nonfiction reading mood recently. So when I think of what I really want is that I just want big chunky biographies. I love biographies. And so I'm just going to say my ideal book length is long, like 600 pages, 800, just around there for any book like that. Next, most recent book you just couldn't finish. I don't really not finish books really. I'm not a DNFer, but there are two books that have recently I've started and I've kind of just fallen by the wayside because I've been reading so much other stuff, and those two books are the New Testament William Tyndale translation. I've was committed to reading that, and because I really want to refresh myself with Tyndale's language and the writing of that time, but it's just felt fallen off really. If I'm being honest, I need to devote some more time to it. But I love Tyndale. I'm a Tyndale girly. It's my favorite translation of the New Testament. And it just fell off. And same as I was reading the Peter Rabbit books, because I never read them growing up, and I really love them. I think I'm up to book 7, and I got busy and distracted, and I haven't picked it up in a couple of days. So I feel like I need to make some time and pick up those two books in particular. So those are the ones that I'm gonna finish them eventually, but they've just been put down for now. But generally, I don't DNF books. Next question. A book you're currently reading. Now, I'm not in the middle of anything right now. I have recently been on a non-fiction kick. I've been reading a lot about former Prime Minister Gough Whitlam and his dismissal, and I have some couple books set up about the palace letters that were recently released in the last 5 years. I want to get to about his dismissal, but when it comes to, I've been really sticking to biographies of him, and I think I've read all the major ones by now. There are a couple that I can't find and are not in print anywhere, and it's too expensive to buy secondhand. So there's some that I'm a bit limited in terms of that. But when it comes to getting a full look into Whitlam's life and the major biographies I've done, and about the dismissal of his government too, I've done the major books about it. I've done some more journalist point of views of it. There really isn't that much because Australian political writing isn't that big of a market, and so there really isn't that much. But I have been currently reading that, so I'm in the middle of that phase right now. Next question. Last book you recommended to someone. I don't really know. I don't. I'm awful with recommendations. I've always sucked at it, so I'm very quiet when it comes to recommendations. I rarely recommend books because I'm not good at recommending books. So yeah. Newest book you've read, publication date. The newest one I've read is the new Thomas Pynchon novel, Shadow Ticket, and on that same day, Mate by Ali Hazelwood was released too, and I read those two books the day they came out because I really love Thomas Pynchon, and Ali, I'm committed to reading Ali my whole life. As long as she's writing, I've been with her since The Love Hypothesis, and I have thoughts about Mate, but when it comes to Ali, oh my god, this is turning into an Ali tangent, but I'll quickly get it out of the way. So, Ali, I love The Love Hypothesis. It's such a iconic book in my reading life for me. Everything else she's written is a bit hit and miss, personally. I love when she does paranormal. I think her writing really suits that style, but everything else, like her trying to do YA and age gaps, and it just doesn't work for me. Even her STEM novels after Love Hypothesis didn't do much for me, and I've been really reflecting that. And so, but anyway, that's a rant. The newest books I've read were Mate and Shadow Ticket. So I know, a bit wild, but those are. And today, or yesterday by the time this gets released, for some people, new Harper Lee collection of her works. This is not a drill. There's like a 200 page, 300 page, a collection of her journal writing for newspapers and short stories I've heard or whatever, but uncollected stuff that I'm freaking out about because, no, technically that would be, I haven't read it yet, but that is on the way and I will devour that book when I get it. So look out for that. I randomly remembered that. Next question. Oldest book you've read, publication date. Maybe The Epic of Gilgamesh, or maybe the stories from like Mesopotamia. That's probably the oldest I've gone, really. So yeah, I don't know exactly what date they were, but I know, because I have my classics arranged chronologically, I know that is the oldest I've read. So yeah. Next, plays or short stories. Either. I'm not fussed really when it comes to format like that. I'll happily do both, but if I had to pick, I would pick a short story if I'm being honest. Even though I don't read that much short stories, but I've been more of a playgirly looking back now, but I will happily do both, to be honest. I'm not fussed. Next question, buying or borrowing books? I'm a buyer because I'd just rather own it than borrow it. Anyway, a book you dislike that everyone else seems to love. Ooh, I didn't think of this. Test of the D'Urbervilles. Great Expectations. Those are my main two, and some of the later Hardy books like The Well Beloved and Jude the Obscure. Like I don't like those, but Great Expectations. I'm just gonna say it because I know that ruffles some feathers. Next question: bookmarks or dog ears? Dog earing pages. I do both, to be honest. My nan is a bit chaotic, and she'll, instead of just dog earing the page, she'll fold the entire page in half, and I kind of love it, to be honest. And I think maybe I should start doing that because that is such a chaotic choice to make, and it's so extra, and I really love it. So you could see me folding entire pages in my books. Why not? But I do both, to be honest. And if you can't find a bookmark and you're outside, just use a leaf, just blow it off or whatever. So tip of the day. Next, a book you can always reread. I'm gonna pick Georgia Hayer again. I can read her any day, any night, any minute, really. A lot of classics I can go back to. I go back to Don Quixote, go back to Moby Dick, Middlemarch, Billy Shakes. I go back to every year. Thomas Harris. There's a lot, to be honest, but those are some of the main ones. Can you read while hearing music? Yes, I'm one of those people that I need distractions in my life. I don't like being in the quiet. I hate reading in the quiet. I can't focus. It's too much. So I will normally put like YouTube, BookTube on in the background or whatever, or put a bit of music or whatever. But I love reading when there's people around, like doing stuff and talking. But yeah, I need distraction. I'm someone that I hate silence. I never liked it. I don't know why, to be honest. And that really connects to as a kid, I used to walk and read on the way to school through main roads. I don't know why, but I honestly feel like there's sometimes I can read for anything, but I always pick music when I read. It's just something I really like. Next question: one POV or multiple points of POVs. I don't care really. I'm not fussy. Just do whatever. I don't care. Do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days? Now this is the last question. I'm mostly a two-sitting person. Like it depends on the page length really and what I'm doing. But normally I can start a book in the morning and have it done by the afternoon. I feel like when I have the big days when I just sit and read, I need to get up and move, so I'll go to like a secondhand store or dump some books in a free little library, like that's a couple streets away or something. But normally I am a two-sitting person, and I'm maybe 2 days at most. It depends on the size, because there's some books I can just do in a day, and that's literally nothing. But there's some where I'm like, I really want to take my time with, like, when I reread War and Peace, and I took a week to do it, because I know that's very short for some people, but that's just how I do it. And so that is the tag. That is the 20 Bookish Questions tag. Thank you so much, The Active Mind, for creating this tag. It was very lovely. And yeah, if you feel like doing this tag, please do it. It's really fun and really interesting. And yeah, thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I will see you next time.